Once again, the animated series revisits elements from the original series. Perhaps they did this a little too much, a handful here and there, but it all depends on the execution of it. The previous episode, of course, Once Upon a Planet, was revisiting the Shore Leave Planet, which wasn't too bad. The Tribbles one was just a rehash of the Tribbles. That's where you do it wrong. So the next one is similar in that it revisits elements of the whole show, but it's a bit different in that it's a recurring character, which was Harry Mudd, who is the one character who we did 2 episodes. He returned, and so same thing here, and it stands to reason had the show continued beyond 3 seasons, Harry Mudd more than likely would have shown up again. And it's a character that later iterations of Star Trek probably should have revisited. It was revisited in STD and done horribly wrong, which is probably for the best to just forget about it. But what might have been, certainly Harry Mudd is a character that could have been a regular a villain, if you will, for the series. And so he shows up here, and same thing, he's pulling a con, and it always involves I guess like the second episode it didn't quite, but here once again he's passing off some magic potion, this time a literal love potion. When it was originally introduced, it was a supposed drug that was making women more beautiful than they were naturally, or what have you. Now he has this love potion, but he's pulling a con. He had some sort of shape-shifting alien he was basically selling off to these lonely miners again. Well, the Enterprise is tasked with to bring him into justice. He had escaped. He was left on the planet of the androids in the original show, and but apparently somehow, some way, he stole the ship and escaped. And so here he is running another con, and Spock and Kirk catch him, and they bring him on the Enterprise to be handed over to the authorities. So, but he's got one more con to play, and he plays it on Christine Chapel because he notices that poor Nurse Chapel is in love with Spock, and that's a narrative that was in the original series. And again, another element that might have been pursued further had the show continued. So there she is, and so he uses this to convince her to use the magic potion, which amazingly enough actually works, which Mudd didn't really know for sure that it did. But he just wanted to, he did this to catch her unawares, and he steals her, her pass and whatnot, so he can open the door, get out, and steal a shuttle to escape. So the potion does work. It takes a little longer on Spock because he's bulking, but suddenly he's, oh, Christine. So he wants Christine, and since Christine figures it out, she goes to stop Mudd, but he knocks her out and takes her hostage and escapes the Enterprise. And so the chase is on, and Spock is losing his mind because he's kidnapped Christine, and they're all like, what the hell's with Spock, Well, during the struggle with Mudd, his love potion crystals fall on the floor, and they break open, and the solution within goes through the air-conditioned system of the Enterprise, and so the rest of the crew gets affected by this. And it appears it turns Scotty into a furry because he becomes attracted to the cat lady. But then Spock and Kirk beam down to recapture Mudd and rescue Christine. But the fumes follow them too, so now they're affected. And so, he says that Mudd says, it increases feelings of love between the opposite sex, but the same sex, it really increases friendship. Well, it doesn't seem to be just friendship here. And they're obviously playing around with this. So there it is. Kirk and Spock get really chummy. And then they find Mud and Christine. And they're being attacked by... they thought they were on a planet of nothing but rocks, but the rocks are actually living creatures. This giant rock dragon begins to attack them and all this stuff. So they got to go save her. Mud too. And they do, and at one point where Spock and Christine are together and Spock's just all over her, she's like, oh, Mr. Spock. And then Kirk is jealous. And, well, I mean, at one point in the line, now let's get something straight. So come on. Eventually they use the love potion on the dragon itself, and all this, which could have been far more dangerous than you would have thought. But they find out that the love potion, the drawback to it is that it induces feelings of love in you for someone. Whoever has it, it's like a perfume. You put it on you, and then suddenly whoever you come in contact with first, is like overwhelmed with love for you. But the drawback is, as it begins to wear off, they switch from love to extreme hate. They don't like you, they can't stand you, and all that. And this is evidence, Scotty can't stand the cat lady anymore. He's coughing up hairballs. And so that's the catch to it. So yeah, it works, but only briefly. And then you got to go through your feelings of hatred and whatnot. So there's always a catch, And so Mud is recaptured, and at the end of this, he's going to whatever Federation prison is due him. It works out, and of course they could do things again within the animation that they wouldn't have been as all that great in the original show with the technology at the time for special effects, unless they had the time to do a stop motion animation rock dragon. But I would rather doubt that they would be able to pull that off. So it's basically another you go through the template of Harry Mudd and what scam he's running, and this is sort of similar in his original episode where he has a magic potion for people that are lonely and seeking love and that sort of thing, and this is just another variation on that. So, but it's an enjoyable little romp and pretty funny. So anyway, there you go, Harry Mudd. And I'm going through these, and I don't recall. I think this might have been the only one they did with him. Maybe they did another one. I'll find out as I go through these. But certainly Harry Mudd was. Now there are other characters within the original series they could have revisited, and maybe they would have. But Harry Mudd is one that probably would have appeared quite regularly through the show, but it was not to be. So there we go. Still, since it is voiced by the original actor in here, a much better performance than what they tried to do in that alternate universe Trek of STD. Just awful. So anyway, yes, there we go. Harry Mudd. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr. Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal,
Mr. Nailsin.